What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, I thought it would be a really fun video to showcase my brand new clan boss team that I will be using on a daily basis. I'm sorry, I went for the unkillable route. I know I said I would never do it. But for the future of my channel and being able to showcase brand new champions that come into the game and their capabilities, having an unkillable team is the best way to do that, so I don't have to use so much resources building new teams every single time that I want to showcase some damage. But I did actually build a team earlier on in the week live on stream using a Doom Screech, a Seeker and a Michinaki, and the way that that team was working was increased defense from Doom Screech, amplifying his damage, and I thought that it would do a lot better than it actually did, where I capped out at around 75 million. But I have fine-tuned it and I have now got a double DPS team using a Demytha composition, which is just suiting me in every way possible. It's full auto, it's affinity friendly, and it deals a lot of damage. And I actually have no blessings, so there's so much room for improvement, potentially reaching up to maybe 120, 130 million on a good day. But this will be raw damage, so it's probably a good thing to see for anybody that doesn't have blessings. But alright, what I'm going to do today is break down all of their gear sets, their masteries and all of that good stuff. Towards the end of this segment, I will show my Hell Hades optimizer screen where all of the stats will be in one place. So I'll move myself off the screen, take a screenshot if you want to replicate this yourself. And we'll do the clan boss team, see the damage, and that'll be the end of the video. So alright, Michinaki. I'm using any excuse to build this champion in as many ways as possible. And he's a Hydra killer, a clan boss killer, and he's just amazing. Now, the reason for him is he actually has an ability where he can place the Hex on the A3 skill, and this enables this Cursor of Curses passive. Whenever an ally attacks an enemy under a Hex debuff, this champion has a 50% chance to team up and join the ally's attack. And the amount of times that this pops off, it's so fun to see, guys. And it deals so much damage, as his A1 actually has decent multipliers, which can also place a HP burn debuff, and he has a drop defense on his A2 skill as well. So the synergy between having a self-ally attack, we've got Hex to enable this, drop defense and also a burn, it turns out to be a champion that just deals so much damage. Today I built him in Savage, so we've gone for crit rate and crit damage, speed and crit rate. We've gone crit damage gauntlets, defense percent on the chest plate, with him being a defensive based champion. We've got defense on the boots. We have gone for accuracy on the banner. I really wish I could have went defense on the banner here to amplify his damage more. But I'm actually happy that I did this because now I can use him in Hydra and he'll still hold that value. We've gone crit damage on the amulet and defense on the ring, with overall stats at 47,000 HP, 5.4k defense, sorry. So really nice here. We've got 192 speed, so not really fast at all. As close to 100% crit rate as I could get. I could get 100%, but then I'm mitigating so much defense and crit damage. So I'm going to sit on this for now, as I always hit affinity anyway, so I don't always get the best value. 246% crit damage and 326 accuracy. So a bit of an overkill on that behalf. Masteries, if I just want to swing myself over here, right into the middle. I'm now the defensive tree. Do I look pretty? We've got an offense on the left-hand side down to the War Master. And the support tree, heading down to Sniper because it extends the value of the drop defense and the Hex debuff, making sure that that is up as much as possible. So if there's pockets where you see that it falls off, this enables it to keep it up more consistently, furthering your damage. We have then gone Sniper to get an extra chance of placing the burn on the A1 skill. So that was my Michinaki, and let's head into DPS number 2, because this team is built off no Fushan, we've got no Speed Aura, no Deacon Armstrongs. It's purely 3 champions in Demytha, Heiress and Seeker, and 2 DPS champions. So Brakus, what does he bring? Well, basically it comes down to an A2 with a Full Moon Rampage, which can attack one enemy 6 times. This is bonkers, and it also deals a weaken to coincide with that drop defense from Michinaki. We've got an A1 just for a bit of damage, and then we've got an increased attack to increase the damage of our Heiress and our Seeker and Brakus himself. So really nice for Giant Slayer procs as well. And in terms of gear sets, we have gone for a blend of just stats over sets here. So we've gone speed and crit rate, speed and crit damage. And we've gone speed, crit rate, crit damage on the gauntlets, attack percent on the chest plate, and attack percent on the boots. We have gone for accuracy on the banner here, crit damage on the amulet, and attack on the ring with some nice attack percent rolls. Overall stats, we have gone for 5.7 hit attack, 212 speed, 91% crit rate, 247% crit damage, and just the amount of accuracy to place our debuffs. Masteries is subjective because his A1 skill is a one-time hitter, right? But the rest of his skills are multi-hitters, so 3 and above. So I felt like the value comes from Giant Slayer from him. So I did playtest it with both, and I was seeing a much better return with this mastery here. So we've gone down the offense tree and the support, trying to extend the value of the weaken. And also Cycle of Magic to try and proc the A2 ability as much as possible. And with it being DPS, you could just go like refresh accessories and pop this off a lot more consistently. So yeah, that is my Brakus the Shifter, and let's head into the next champion on the list, which will be Seeker. And I built this champion in a toxic set because we don't have poisoners elsewhere. So just trying to optimize damage here. And the reason for him is we've got Tailwind with a filling of turn meter by 30% and a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and grants that extra turn. And that's what's making this team work. And in terms of the gear sets that we're using, we've gone for the Toxic set, so a 75% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff. And we're just going to try and get speed, crit rate, and crit damage in all of our substats. I couldn't make it work with attack percent chest plate, but that would be optimal. And then we've got attack percent on the boots, accuracy on the banner, we've gone crit damage on the amulet, and attack on the ring. Overall stats here, we've gone for 209 speed, 98% crit rate, 190% crit damage, 254 accuracy, which we don't need, and as much attack as we could get in this build. Masteries, we have gone for the offense tree heading down to War Master and defensive tree trying to proc some counterattacks. Now, if you are struggling with stun targeting, which isn't an issue on Seeker in particular, you could go Steadfast Martial. But in this particular team, I noticed even if he's stunned, Heiress is getting that cleanse up on time. But don't worry, the way that we built this team, he's pretty much never going to be stunned apart from Magic Affinity. But she will be able to strip it off him. Alright, so next up we're actually going to Demytha, the fastest champion in this team. And I feel sorry for Arbiter because I had to strip off a bunch of gear. And pretty much what it comes down to is the Light of Deep, placing the increased duration on all ally buffs and decreasing the duration as well. But the block damage on a 3-turn cooldown up for 1 turn. Now, because of the speeds that we're going, we're able to get this up on a 3-to-1 ratio. So the block damage is up every single time that the clan boss is about to take a hit. So we are going at 316 speed. We have gone for as much damage as possible. 87% crit rate. 125% crit damage, and we don't care about the rest here. And in terms of the artifacts, speed in as many substats as possible. We managed to get a crit rate, which was great. Attack percent on the chest plate and speed on the boots. We've gone resistance just for the speed, crit damage, and attack. And the overall masteries here. Now, this one is very important because you do not want Demytha to be stunned. But if she does get stunned, we do get the strip off. But just for those first setup turns, I feel like it's a great thing to do. But the main thing was I also want Laura Steel Masteries to optimize her speed. And we're going down to the War Master Mastery to do as much damage as possible there. With the War Master procs. Now the final champion, the second fastest in the team in Heiress, putting all of this team together, will be removing 1 random debuff from all allies and has a 60% chance, 100% chance once booked, of applying an increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, keeping us going at a 2-to-1 ratio, enabling these skill sets to go out on time and keep everything under control. And that's pretty much all we're using her for. She does have a passive where she can counterattack the attacker when hit, but also an A1 skill for damage. Artifacts, as much speed as we can. I know it's really hard to do. With crit rate gauntlets. I wish this was attack percent, but I couldn't make it work. And speed on the boots. We've then gone for attack, crit damage, and attack. Overall stats, we have got the 91% crit rate, 162% crit damage, and 284 speed. So, yeah, that was the gear, the masteries, and everything you need to know on these champions in particular. And just to make it easier for you guys to look back in the future, so you don't have to watch the whole video again, this will be the optimizer. So, can I zoom in here? Let's see if we can get that going. There we go. So let me just move myself a bit more on the side here. I'm going to be hiding in the corner. I'll be hiding right here for you guys. Actually, do you know what? I'll take myself off. Can I do that? Boom. Goodbye, guys. So in terms of here, you can take a screenshot and be able to look back at this in terms of masteries, the speeds, and all of the damage stats that I put on these champions to make it work. So if you find this easier, I hope you found it useful. And kaboom! Harry Potter, we brought back the magic. So let's get into the actual team itself and see how it's working. But first and foremost, let's get into the presets. So now we are now on this page. We want to do a first priority on the double degeneracy to enable the hex to go out, and then a second priority on the drop defense to keep that up consistently, and the A1s will be proccing anyway because of his passive. On Brakus, you want to do a first priority on full rune rampage and a second priority on Hunter's Howl to make full use of the Giant Slayer procs. On Seeker, we want to opener with Devour and a first priority on Tailwind. On Demytha, a first priority on Channel the Bloodline and the Light of the Deep on a second priority. And on Heiress, we want a first priority on Exhaustion on the A2 skill set. So, the team itself, this is how we've got it set up. We have the defense in all battles aura, amplifying his damage. And let's see it in action on the magic affinity. Now, I'll speak about it in a second. Let's just see how this works first. So, the block damage will go out with the presets we just did. We can going through. Poison set proccing. And there's the drop defense. So I think in the preset when I did this one, I opened up with the drop defense. But you could do it either way. It doesn't really matter. But now I have got it on a hex on the first priority. But I'll leave that down to your discretion. And boom. Nice damage coming out from Brakus there. See that A1? 150,000, guys. And then boom. And it all kind of falls into sync very soon. So you'll see it all fall into sync. So boom. Stun turn coming through. And that's on Seeker there. And now you'll see here. Heiress is going to be taking an extra turn here before Seeker does. So able to cleanse it off him. So that keeps that affinity friendly. In case Seeker wants to take that stun. But throughout Magic Affinity, I've seen that it goes between Michinaki and Seeker. But if you do not want Seeker to be stunned at all. And it's kind of just annoying you. You can put the Steadfast Mastery on. Where if all buffs are aligned, it will actually deter the stun target hit onto your lead position in Michinaki. So from here, block damage is up all of the time, and we are now in sync, cleansing all of the debuffs, and it will be doing this for the Spirit Affinity, the Force, and the Void, so don't worry about that. And this will work on Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal full auto with these same presets, keeping this optimal. Now, do you need a Michinaki? Do you need a Brakus? No. These are 2 DPS slots, meaning that it is flexible to bring in any other champions here. But this is something that I will be focusing on myself and using on a daily basis. And I finally settled on this team and I really do like it. You'll see here all of the counterattacks from the passive of Michinaki. Look at that. Every single time that someone takes a hit, there's that 50% chance to proc that passive. So let's just see it in action one more time here. And I made sure that I tried this on Spirit and Force before making this video, which is the reason for the delay. I don't really want to put our misinformation out there. And yeah, another thing I actually wanted to mention is, Heiress is Force Affinity. So if you're thinking about how to counter the Force Affinity in particular, or should I say Spirit, you need to have a Force DPS, whether that be a Geomancer, a Razen Scarhide, a Brakus the Shifter. There's so many options for Force DPS in this game. And just make sure that you've got the Steadfast Mastery on your Heiress to enable that the stun target to go onto that DPS champion. In this case, it'll be Brakus the Shifter. I'm going to stop speaking now. I just want to get out as much information as possible. I'll let you guys enjoy the run, and we'll see where we got the damage without any blessings. Let's go. So there we have it, guys. 100 million on the dot with a 0.93 at the end. And we did 42 million damage on Michinaki, 25 million on Brakus, 15 million on Seeker, 5 million on Demytha, and 11 million on Heiress. As I said, there is so much room for improvement as I've got no blessings on these champions. Bring in Brimstone, bring in the Phantom Touch, the Cruelty, and I'll start to see a better result with a team like this. If you do want to see a follow-up video of how much it does with blessings, it might be something that I'll do in the future. But in terms of this, being able to deal between 95 and 100 million without a blessing is actually pretty substantial. So I actually did hit a Force Affinity, but I wanted to show you the 100 million. And today I hit 93. But I see somewhere between 93 and 98 against Void without blessings. So really, really consistent there. And in terms of Nightmare and stuff, you'll have no issue doing that as well. So yeah, let's just go back onto the champions here. I'll get that screen back up for you guys. Oops, it's not that one. It's not that one either. And boom. There we go. So yeah, as you see here, Steadfast Mastery on Heiress, Steadfast on Demytha, and you could put it on other champions that you don't want to be stunned as long as your buffs are aligned. Remember, check your true speeds on the Deadwood Jedi calculator, input your sets that you're putting on, whether that be speed sets or Laura Steel Masteries, as true speeds could affect these sort of things. But yeah, that is going to be all for the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if this is a team you'd be looking to use if you don't have like a Fushan or a Deacon Armstrong. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.